Like pattern matches, this is very significant. You don't ever want to do this. You don't ever want to put the wildcard at the front because it doesn't know what to look for. The simple fact is all you're going to end up doing is pulling a lot more data. So there is actually an index on this column. So what we can do is right click in here, and we are not connected to the correct user. So we're going to connect to the correct user. We were connected as a system to use the DW tables. And there it says it runs in O1, which is actually fairly fast. The problem with this is that you're not going to see any difference in SQL Plus because this table is so small. It would make sense for Oracle probably to full scan the table anyway. Let's go back into here and we'll look at the difference based on the explain plans. I don't want to go too far and in too much detail on this. Here we've got category. It says read the entire table. That's what this thing here is telling you to do. If that was the DW table 600,000 rows and you only wanted one record, it's telling you go and read 600,000 rows, all the columns. In this case, the other one, it will read a range scan. It cannot do an exact match because it cannot match A with anything. It thinks it's going to find more than one row. The bottom one is definitely faster. Like is not that fast, it's not as fast as equality because it's finding a pattern. It's potentially finding more than one row. It cannot find a unique scan or with a unique scan for the simple reason that it doesn't have one record to zero in on. Last but not least is functions, and particularly a good example is to show you this with strings. Back into SQL Plus and back in the shows schema. What this thing does here is says convert this to lowercase and then check against that. Convert that to uppercase and then check against that. What it's doing is, I know there's an index on the name column, but if I execute lower on it, the result out of that is not an index, so it doesn't read an index. This should full table scan, or at least read the index in full. There we have a full table scan. Cost is 3. Let's go down to here. And again, you have the same explain plan result. Well, first of all, you can create a thing called a function-based index in Oracle, which will take the result of this function applied to every name entry in this table and put it into an index. So these values will be the index values. So when you go and search for the word sports lowercase, it will look in an index. The trouble is you now have 2 indexes. So every time you change the data or do anything in the table, you update statistics, it has to update a table plus 2 indexes, an extra index, the name index, the inversion entry, as well as the function-based index, and you could have one for upper as well, and so on and so forth. The more things you create, the more complicated it gets, the slower it gets. You can obviously do this, but the name values are not actually uppercase. So let's just go and execute this. This particular example finds data because it's converting on the column. Again, this is converting the column. This one won't find anything because the values are not uppercase, they are actually mixed. Again, lower does the same problem. There is actually a function in Oracle called initCap that will take a value of any case and convert it to a mixed case value. And here we can see it in action. What I've done here, and I've actually missed something off here, very simple. The point to make here is that this column hasn't been altered. So in the explain plan, you're probably going to find that it reads the index. There you go. It reads the category name index, the inversion entry, and it is a unique scan. It's a unique key. Just to demonstrate the use of unique initCap, say name, and well, let's say lower name and initCap. They are already initCap mixed case values in this database. All I want to do is just show you what this function does in a specific example. As you can see, I've lowercased everything on the right, and here it puts a capital letter at the beginning of every word. Simple as that. That's some methods that you've seen in these final movies in this chapter on making your queries run faster and specifically applicable to the where clause.